Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be replacing the exhaust manifold on my 99 24 valve Cummins. This is good for any 24 valves between 1998 and a half to 2002. Alright, let's get started. Alright, and the main reason for the change today is that the old exhaust manifold has a crack. I don't know if, yeah, you can see it right there. It's this black mark right here. Has a crack right there, and that's due to heat cycles through the exhaust manifold, and it causes it to shrink and then causes it to crack over time. And that's a common problem with especially these second gen 24 valve Cummins, and it's really easy to replace, and the solution is next. We'll show you. All right, here we have the DPSX exhaust manifold. This one will improve the flow and horsepower over the stock one, especially with not having a crack in it too. It comes with 2 threaded holes on top and 1 on bottom in case you go for compound turbo system in the future. And those are for your EGTs sensors there to connect to your gauges. And let's get to installing it. All right, first we took out the battery to get a little bit more space. Next we're going to be taking this off. All right, next we're just going to take out the filter. Easy as that. It's a good time to check if your turbo has any play in the shaft. And ours looks pretty good. All right, next step. So first we're going to take off this bolt right here. It's 15 millimeter. And then we're going to move this coolant hose a little bit out of the way so you can access the bottom bolt right down in here. You can't see it from here. All right, after getting that stuff off, we're going to be disconnecting the turbo from the manifold itself. So there's 4 15 millimeter nuts that come off, 2 down here on either side. Kind of hard to reach, except especially this one over here. You might have to get a little bit of leverage on them. I have a little homemade breaker bar, or you could also put 2 of them together and then use more leverage that way too. That's how I was able to get this back one off back here. Break it loose. This one, a little hard to get to, but I found it right here. It's a little bit, it's about the best way to do it. And then you just press, and then you can get it off. Might need a little bit more leverage. I think we'll be able to get it off now. But that's the last one. And from there, we'll start on to removing these. All right, so with all these ones, the top ones are pretty easy to get to. The bottom ones are going to be a little bit harder. You can use an extension, or you'll have to use a 13 mil combo wrench for some of them. But WD-40 is your friend. Put it on there. Like we said before the video, make sure your engine's a little warm before going at it, because it expands it out and makes them easier to take off. All right, let's get at it. All right, so we got the manifold out here. Here, the crack we're talking about, but as you can see, it extends all the way down even into the mating surface. Let's get some better light on it. As you can see, all the way even into there. The gasket's kind of stuck, I think, from shrinkage. Yeah, it's totally cracked out. That's pretty bad right there. No wonder my power was down so much. But we got it out. Didn't have to. A lot of videos say to take the turbo out, but we didn't have to in this instance. Next, put in the new manifold. All right, so first things first though, we had to take off the old studs from the old manifold because the new one didn't come with them. So it's really easy. Just take some WD-40, spray it on there, and get some vice grips, and then you just take them off. It's pretty simple, straightforward. Just make sure your vice grips are nice and solid on there so it doesn't slip at all, and then they should just come right out. No heating needed. At least I didn't need any heating. But I only needed the bottom two. There's some manifolds that come with both that the studs need to go on the top and the bottom, but not for this one. So we're gonna go and next put the manifold into the truck. All right, time to put it in. Remember when you're putting it in to get that gasket on there, or else you'll have a hard time having to take out the whole manifold again and putting that gasket in. So let's get it in place, and boom, easy as that. Now we're gonna put the gaskets in and the original bolts that were on there. All right, so for the middle ones, you're gonna use these supplied bolts right here because the original ones contact the head of it, the head of the bolt. So you're just gonna put these in with the new gasket. And then get it finger tight, and then use a tool to put it in. Same for the other side, right here. Same supplied black gasket. Thread it in. All right, so after threading the top ones in, we're gonna start threading the bottom ones in just to secure the gaskets in place so they don't flip up and move around on us. And then we're gonna proceed to tighten them all down to the block surface themselves, but not all the way tight because we're gonna wanna tighten them in clockwise motion, going from the inside bolts to the outside bolts, just to get everything properly seated. You want to tighten up the middle before you tighten up the outsides, just so everything is where it needs to be. All right, and another tip, just to make sure you don't have to do things more than once, make sure the elevated part of the gasket goes in facing the manifold. That'll make sure that you have the proper seal going on. All right, next is gonna be to torque the bolts to 35 foot-pounds. We already did the center ones because we're working on clockwise direction. Just getting this one next. There's 35. All right, proceed on with all those and on to the next step. Next part's gonna be getting these 4 bolts on right here that we had taken off before. Might be a little crappy to get the back 2, but the front 2 you should be able to get to the 35 foot-pounds easy. Just make sure they're all kind of tightened down before you do torque them all the way down. All right, and then on to the next step after that. All right, next is going to be install this bracket on here. So you're just going to take the supplied bolt, same size as this one, and the washer, and I'm going to thread it down. I had to bend this down a little bit in order for this to fit on there properly. But then after that, you're just gonna feed it on and tighten it up. It's easy as that. Then proceed to put the intake and then battery on, and then you're good to go to start it up and see how it all goes. All right, we got the intake, battery in. Now we're gonna start it all up and make sure there's no leaks.